So I'm in Biddestone in Wiltshire, and I am going to be painting this scene here. Not that runner. A village scene, street scene, and think about perspective, those row of cars going up on the left hand side, light coming from the left. Good exercise in composition as well. Trying to find a focal point there. Maybe that in the middle there, that lighter car could be a good focal point. Anyway, let's see how we get on. Right, materials. Saunders watercolor paper, cold press, 15 inches by 15 inches by 11 inches, cold press, and then I will describe the colours as I go through. Brushes wise, again I'll describe those as I go through, but mop brush, synthetic round brush, and a rigger. Excuse the background noise as we go through. I was painting here this morning. It's fairly busy with a lot of traffic and people going backwards and forwards. Under this little, we just had a little lecture from the local historian and custodian of the water pump behind me. So I stood on a platform for the watercolor pump. Yep. So this scene, a challenge with the focus, trying to get a focal point as well in the picture. Maybe one of those cars could be, one of their windscreens could be catching a lot of light, and that could be a focal point. Maybe some figures on the right hand side as well. First of all, then perspective with the buildings on the left hand, the cottages on the left hand side, and trying to get those right. So there's a longer one, then a shorter one, and their rooftops are catching the light a lot. So that's the top of the roof, chimneys, and then a chimney for the smaller one, and then these cars, the cars are going, there's a slight gradient on the road, so the cars are going up a little bit uphill. Now with a row of cars like this, let's start with a nearby car, and then we'll work our way up the road. So car number one, and then car number two, have a little bit of a gap, perhaps that car there is the one that's got a lot of light on the windscreen, and then continue up the road. A little bit of light. There's actually quite a bit of light coming in from the end of the road just there. That might be quite nice to feature. Not a lot of detail through the gap there. A figure. Let's have a figure. So thinking about the height of a figure, the shoulders would be at the same level as the top of a car. So taking that as a reference point, for example, we can have a figure in there. Lots of walkers here. Something like that. Shadows going over to the right. Trees. And then some shrubs coming from the front gardens of the houses to the right. There's a bit of grass here. And maybe just a bit more detail for the cottages. Some entrances. Hedges in the front garden. Some geometric shapes. There's a garden. There's a high garden wall there. This figure will be coming towards us. Maybe walking a dog. Dog in there. Good. That's the drawing done. Right, first painting stage then is the wash. Excuse my palette. It's I did a painting this morning and haven't had a chance to clean it out. That they would normally be clean. Anyway, my colours from Jackman's Art Materials: neutral tint, burnt umber, neutral tint, burnt umber, burnt sienna, yellow ochre, spring green, viridian green, cobalt green, cerulean blue, cobalt blue, ultramarine blue, alizarin crimson, cadmium red, light red, cadmium orange, cadmium yellow, lavender, and a few gouache paints over there. So let's get down a sky first of all, and we're just covering this paper apart from those areas that are going to be a focal point or going to be deliberately light, of course. So I'll just come down here and cover up with something or other. That's going to be a lot of trees in there. Try and maintain the gap around there. And then the rooftops. Still going to dry a lot lighter, of course. And then the colour of the buildings. We'll have that fairly light in there. And then a bit more greenery here where we're coming down to the cars. So it's all going to look a terrible mess to start with. Let me just tilt the board back a little bit. Around the cars and some foliage coming over from the right hand side. and then cooler for the road. Try and preserve the light on the tops of the cars. Maybe we'll have that figure quite light. This grassy bit just in front of me, and then just continue on with the pathway. And that is pretty much the initial wash done. Just mop up this bead here. There we go. So we've got the light there, options are open on the figure, a little bit of light, top of the cars. I'll come back to you when this is a little bit dry, and then we'll go in with the darks, the background trees, and adding in the darker values, just to provide a little bit of shape and form and a bit of sense of the depth as well in the picture. Catch up with you in a minute. Next step then, background trees. So we're working, of course, light to dark, and background, generally for me, background then coming forwards. The sun keeps going in and out of the moon, so it's quite challenging with the lighting conditions. I'm trying to remember as it was when I first arrived here, when it was sunny, and the shape of the shadows and where the light was coming from. The sun is up there on the top left corner. Anyway, background trees. Something not too green, not too vibrant, otherwise that's going to bring it forwards. So let's start off with a Virgin green, a little bit of burnt umber, perhaps a little bit of ultramarine blue, a bit of swing green, and then just test it. Start from the left hand side, a little bit of spring green actually, just to make it a little bit greener. And work my way over to the right hand side, trying to keep the trees sort of fairly natural looking with this brush, just creating the top of the canopy. And with these trees it's good to just alter the values and the colours as they go over, just to make it a little bit more natural looking. Okay, we've got an important edge here, the left hand side of the roof there. Now, where I need a bit more control, I'll hold my brush a little bit more carefully. There we go. Continue on. Again, important edge here, down to the rooftop. This is where the drawing is very important, trying to get the perspective right, that this angle here. And down to the next chimney. Got a tall chimney pot. A bit of a gap in there, and then darker in here. Oops. Darker in there. Actually, really dark. And then touching now the left-hand side of the little cottage, the chimney, and then again the angle of that roof with the perspective. And the far end, good edge. And now trees up to the right hand side. So a little bit of the sky showing through on the top of the canopy. And then we're encroaching on the shrubs on the right hand side of the road. Might be a little bit too blue there. And it's really dark in this little area here, just around that light. Try and keep that gap well lit. And then down to the cars. There we are, shrubs on the right hand side. Try and get in a mixture of edges, just use my fingertips to smooth out the edges a little bit, take away that hard edge. There's a wall there. Right, back to the left hand side. need to go darker on these buildings here, get that light on. Again, trying to remember as I saw it when I first came here, with the light on the rooftops and the darkness of the walls on the right hand side. So something dark. Trick, I keep that light there. Oh, actually, I go a bit darker there. And then fronts of the houses. I go a little bit darker. As we come down to the bottom of these buildings, and then I've got this high wall here, which is got a lot of climbing plant on it, but I'll actually imagine that's not there. Down to the road, so the road's going to be around about there. Again, just define the tops of the cars a bit more. Yep.
Well, you do mind.
Oh, sorry, I'm filming on YouTube at the moment, so
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah.
It's a different view. People normally sit on the green and paint.
Yeah, we'll do something different here.
Yeah.
Out of the ordinary. View up the streets here. What's this street called?
Church Lane.
Church Lane. Okay.
Church
Oh,
Road.
must
Church
be-
Road.
Church
sorry.
Road.
Church Road.
There must be a church at the end of it.
It's just there.
Literally just.
Norman.
Oh, right. Okay.
Tree it is.
Oh, we saw the sign down. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Okay. Thanks very much.
Norman, 10th century.
Norman. Thank you. Right. Colour of these cars: greyish, sort of cerulean blue and burnt sienna. In fact, a lot of them are very similar hue. So let's go in there with that one. Again, a little bit of a darker colour on that side. And now something dark for the shadows underneath the car. So thinking about the direction of the sun. And a little bit of shadow going over the grass. Picked a bit of bridging green. There we go. Maybe there's something coming down that left-hand corner. Right, moving up the road then. Rest of the cars. And this one here. Dark car. Shadow. There's a reddish car behind that, so a bit of cadmium red, bit of alizarin crimson, bit of light on the top. And a bit of shadow. And just continue up really. Maybe go a little bit lighter with the value. But we've got the all sorts of different colours of cars. Generally sort of greyish, they seem to be. And then shadows for those. Shadows for those. Too much paint in there. Shadows, neutral tint, burnt amber, alizarin crimson, ultramarine blue. There we are, a row of cars going up the hill. Figure. Figure. Bit of flesh colour first of all. Arms. And let's have the top. Like that, and then bottom. Oops, too dark. Let's get one leg in right first of all. And then shadow. I've got the dog on the side. Get a good point to my brush. And I'm not sure what breed of dog it will be. There we go. Dog. Right, there needs to be some shadow on the right-hand side to define the line of the wall here as it sort of goes in and it comes in and out as it comes down the street. Little flat brush for this. Little flat brush. Let me get my
brushes out.
A little flat brush. Or actually, no, getting that. A little bit wider. That one down. So perhaps a bit of shadow underneath those bushes, and then bit of shadow there. Bit of shadow there. Get a hard edge and a soft edge, right? So a little bit of contrast. Right, back to my medium round brush. Let's get into some detail now. First of all, I need to rub out these pencil lines. Get back the crispness of the white paper and the edge. Oops. Make sure your eraser rubber is clean before you start. Rub out that. Okay, right. So a little bit of detail to the roadside. This grass verge here. The edge to that. Buildings. There's the shadow on this side of the chimneys. If it's a little bit too light, just lift it off a little bit. And then just defining some of these edges a bit more. The edge of the roof is quite dark. Under there. And then the windows. And just a few windows here and there. Might have gone a bit too dark, some of those, but should dry a little bit lighter. Some of these wind screens could be a little bit darker. That's my focal point windscreen. Cars going up the road. Some thin lines for the brickwork. Few lines just to help with the staggering of the pathway up the left-hand side. Now I'm beginning to scratch my head thinking what to do next. Am I nearly there? Oh, let's put some red in for the tail. Tail lights. All right. I think that's nearly done. What else does it need? Some red, there's a rose there or something over there. Yeah, I think that is it. Church Road in Biddestone and a row of cottages going up the road. Hope you liked it. Catch up with you on the next video.